But here we go.
Okay. There we go.
Knoll Nation, welcome into the Voice of College Football Postgame Live, brought to you by Ticket Smarter. I've got my co-host with me, Jen Santee, aka JenNole2013, on
Sorry.
X and Twitter, as it used to be called. You can find her at Jen Santee 1890 on Twitter. There, you guys can look her up. She has all kinds of great stuff on there. She really airs out these gators and candy things and these really kind of ridiculous podcasts we see out here making all these claims and stuff. What's going on, Jen? We survived. It was kind of like we talked about, but we took a
Yep.
weird, circuitous route to get there, didn't we?
It was exactly like we talked about. The pocket awareness was an issue. We know that. I think the football god smiled on us at the end. And I think that the Gator fans actually, with those posters, did you see those?
The posters? No. What I miss?
Oh my goodness. You got to go check my Twitter page, honey. You got to check it.
All right. Well, let the people know.
I think that, oh my goodness. Do you mean the picture of Jordan Travis being lynched?
I didn't see it.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something. The football gods do not like this. And I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I think I know what you're talking about now.
Yes.
Yeah. Like the fraternity, had
Yeah.
some kind of
Like,
graphic image up there. Yeah. The football gods definitely answered on that one.
absolutely. As they should have. Thank you.
Yeah, you look at the stats. Tate Rodemaker on the day, 12 of 25, 134 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Trey Benson ends up, with a healthy 5.0 average with 3 touchdowns. He had 19 carries for 95 yards, almost hit 100 yards. Toafili got 5 touches. It seems like all in the first half for 23 yards. Tate lost 26 yards rushing when you take his sack yards and stuff, man. Just the biggest thing to talk about right off the top of the show. So happy that Tate Rodemaker was all right and able to come back in the game. How scary was it to see that nasty hit by those UF guys? I mean, he was clearly giving himself up. I was happy to see that guy kicked off. It's unfortunate that they don't have a bowl game that they get to go play in, so I don't know if he's gonna miss the first half all the way into next year. But that's pretty awesome. It'll be call right.
It'll be the first half versus Miami, which is actually the coach's hot seat bowl, is what I'm going to call it.
That's true. They both those squads are going to need to get out, to a quick start last year. But yeah, man, going back to the game, Johnny Wilson had a big game like we kind of all expected. He had a great connection with Tate Rodemaker going back to Louisville last year. He had 6 catches for 64 yards. For like a 10.7 average. Jaheim Bell had 3 catches for 38 yards. Keon Coleman only with the 1 big catch for 24 yards. He dropped a touchdown. There was one that was, I'm not sure, man. He got his hands on it, so he should have caught it, but at the same time, Tate overthrew it. Just the offense, the first 3 quarters of this game just did not really click. You had, kind of in the middle 4, as you call it, the last 2 of the first half and the first 2 of the second half, you saw signs. It got together, and when we went up there, early, I believe it was like, 13-12 or something, some crazy score early on. But then that kind of died again. I was really worried. They stuck with Trey Benson throughout the game. They kept plugging away with Trey Benson, kept chopping away, and it's something that's worked all year long. That by the 4th quarter, teams wear down, and all of a sudden, that running game pays off, and you see it start paying dividends. But credit to University of Florida, Austin Armstrong, and Billy Napier. They did as best a job they could calling this game. They called it a great game, and they were able to muck it up and shorten the game to such an extent that I was worried we may not get there. I was worried there may not be enough clock for Trey to pull it off to finally wear him down and bust through. But finally, with like 3 minutes to go, he finally does it. He breaks an arm tackle and scores the backbreaker touchdown to go up 25-14, I believe it was. What was it? 25-13? To finish the game. So, man, any thoughts right off bat? I know you talked about the pocket presence.
Well, I mean, I think I think for us, like on our pod a couple days ago, we talked about the worst case scenario, right? And we saw it at the beginning of this game. We saw every minute of everything we discussed. The offensive line collapsing, taking too long, and the running backs dancing. I think we all mentioned this, right? So I apologize. My voice is going, guys. So just bear with me. But once he settled down and that last drive before the half, you knew that this team was back in focus. Now, then they came in and scored a touchdown, once they got the ball back after the second half. And then Florida came and did another, chunk play with a field goal. I get it. I get it, guys. I get it. But Adam Fuller and that defense is not the issue.
No.
And that's where I'm going to stay right now because I think I said what the issue was a couple days ago, and it's still the issue today. So I don't want to harp on anything. We just beat the damn Gators. Let's just be happy.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I'm not scared of Louisville at all, which I told you a couple days ago.
Yeah, unfortunately, Louisville could not handle their business. They go down.
I don't even think it's unfortunately. I honestly, if Florida State beats Louisville, they're still in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I mean,
that's not happening.
I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but
I'm not losing sleep over it.
We have a top 20 team. So.
I'm not losing sleep over it because Louisville's been catfished from the day one. Like they are pretending to be something they're not. They lost to Pitt.
Look, they had an amazing schedule. We talked about it before the season. The schedule lined up for Louisville. They missed us. I believe they missed Clemson. They missed all kinds of teams. It just laid out. They ended up getting a Notre Dame team that was just not the Notre Dame team everybody thought it was, and they won that game, I believe. And they just ran through their schedule. They ran into a Kentucky team who probably, prepared for Florida. They had like 3 cupcakes, played Florida, and then started playing for Louisville right then. And it's like,
I think
they ran into Kentucky and lost a physical game against a really tough running back. Hopefully we can recreate some of that success with Trey Benson when we see Louisville in Charlotte.
I don't think you have to do that. I don't think you have to do that. I think you throw it over the middle. I think you throw it over the middle, or you throw it to Johnny Wilson. I think we've proven that. If Brownlee is still their starting DB, I think you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, he's missed time. I'm not sure if he's back or not.
No, he's back.
Yeah,
he's back.
Definitely not worried about him. Did he get roasted in that game today? I didn't watch most of it.
He gets roasted in every game usually, but and he's on Twitter, excited about playing Florida State. So bring it.
Smooth criminal with the comment. What is with these teams before they play us? Do they take some kind of super serum? Look, when you're number 4, number 5 in the nation all year long, and you're Florida State Seminoles, the team everybody loves to hate, you're going to get kind of the best shot from these teams at week in and week out. That's just how it is. And, Florida, to top it off, you have the rivalry. They're going to play you tough every year. You're on the road. Look, this game shouldn't have been as close as it was. Look, I'm not going to, I'm happy we won. It's great. I'm not upset about it. Look, we played sloppy. We've been getting off the slow starts all year. We got off to another slow start. Tate kind of froze up. He really had me worried. When he took that safety, I'm like, oh, man, are we going to have to put Brock Glenn in, see if we can get a spark going? You can't just freeze up like that and go back and take the safety. But at the end of the day, he did. At least he protected the ball and just didn't let it turn into a touchdown. After that, he got it together and assuaged our fears a little bit. But make no mistake, that wasn't Clemson defense or Bama defense.
No,
that was a Florida defense that has struggled all year long. And they had a good game plan. Give it to the guy. For a guy making his first start, it felt a little bit throughout the game, and you can tell me how you felt about it, but it felt a little bit just like Mike Norvell was still calling game plan for Jordan Travis out there, and not too much Tate Rodemaker. Just some of the plays, it's like these plays where you get a rusher that Jordan Travis would just shrug the guy off, and then it'd be a 40-yard gain because there's nobody there. Well, Tate never sees that rusher, and nobody lets him know, and it just ends up being a sack. And there's just a lot of just a lot of sloppiness. We'll have to go back and watch the tape. I'm not going to throw any particular offensive lineman under the bus or anything like that. The offensive line didn't have obviously didn't have a stellar performance, but I have a feeling when you go back and look at the tape, like a lot of times, there's a lot of holes that was missed early on. Trey Benson didn't have, it takes him a while to get going. He missed some holes early on. They really stuck with him, and it paid off in the long run. But, this team
as it usually
continues to do
does.
what it does.
I think this team just chips down at people. Like, they just wear them down. I'm sorry, my bad. But also, for me, I think we talked about this a couple of days ago. Tate holding on to the ball too long. I think that caused the safety, right? He's not understanding, like, his pocket awareness is off. And it just makes him uncomfortable. Now, I did like his throws over the middle. I did, to Jaheim Bell.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Who also was his teammate.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was hoping to see more of that, to be honest. I'm surprised that Morlock didn't get a catch, but I really like that end around they gave to Jaheim Bell for one of the few positive first down plays. Seems like we were just behind the sticks, especially in the first half. Field position and behind the sticks to such an extreme degree, man. And that was part of Tate's rough start, man. I mean, it was starting from inside his own 5, inside his own 10, inside his own 5. It was just over and over and over again. So, at the end of the day, as ugly as it was early on, as difficult as it was to watch, I know people out there are on heart attack watch for the first 3 quarters. Tate Rodemaker did what he had to do to win a ball game. And you're talking about monster experience for him. I expect him to be, 100% more confident going into that Louisville game in the ACC championship compared to this game. You're on the road, first ever start against a rival, SEC team that's fighting for a bowl appearance, and they're your rival. It's Florida. It doesn't matter how bad they are. They were going to get up to play, and they got up to play. Florida State comes home with a victory. That's the main thing. We just get to breathe out, guys. We get to exhale, get that victory. You know what? One thing we haven't touched on since we started talking, we've been so hung up on the game. Florida State is 12-0, Jen, undefeated. Okay, this is actually the 4th undefeated regular season. I believe we had one in like the late 50s, early 60s or something. One year we went like 8-0 or something, maybe 9-0 to be undefeated. But in the modern era, this is the 4th time or actually the 5th time, if you count 2014, that Florida State's went undefeated all the way through in the regular season. So it's a good thing, man. 12-0. You can't beat that. If you can handle the championship game against Louisville, you're in. Win and get in. It's just like we talked about in our last episode. The playoff starts right there in Georgeville, as we called it, and Tate got enough done, and here we go. We're in the playoff. How does it feel?
Look, I'm not scared of Louisville, and I'm sorry. I've said it for weeks. I watched that team today. I saw people being like, I can't believe Louisville's losing to Kentucky. I can. I could. And by the way, Brom is going to win ACC Coach of the Year, which is absurd. And that's fine.
Florida State coaches don't win that award.
No, they don't.
I gave up on that when Jimbo, he had 2 or 3 years where I thought he should have won Coach of the Year.
How many times did Bobby won it?
Somebody else.
Bobby resurrected the ACC, and they never gave it to him. So, what do you expect?
I wouldn't doubt it. It's one thing I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about. How about this? And we keep it G-rated. We are safe for work here at the Voice of College Football. Brought to you by TicketSmarter.com. Use promo code BIG for $10 off your orders of $100 or more on TicketSmarter.com. You can get the app. You can also use promo code BIG20 to save $20 on your purchase of $300 or more. And again, that's TicketSmarter.com. You can get the app. Any kind of tickets for football game. If you want to get a ticket for the ACC Championship, you can find them on there. Concerts, all that kind of stuff. Use TicketSmarter.com. And those codes are infinite. You can save your $10 or $20 with Big and Big 20 as many times as you want. So you can save $100 worth if you go go and do business with them 5 different times. So go see ticketsmarter.com for all your ticket needs. But yeah, this team 12-0. But the ACC officials are not a part of that. They're not a part of the reason this Florida State team is 12-0. They did it in spite of them. And yet again, we have this game where it's just, man, and particularly in the first half, just some insane calls that just, I mean, that one.
You mean
was it a targeting call that they missed early on?
No, it wasn't. Okay, well, the first one was the personal foul at the goal line, which allowed Florida to get their touchdown, right? Which was a sack, and apparently in the ACC,
that's right. Roughing the passer. Or no, they didn't call it roughing the passer.
No, they called it personal foul.
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary. Whatever. Apparently, that's
unbelievable on Akeem Dent. Yes, there was
in
nothing
the ACC.
there.
That is a sack.
There was no argument on that.
I mean, unreal. I don't know what else to say other than what I put on Twitter. And if you guys want to go look, you're welcome to. I won't say it here because, we're trying to keep it PG.
Yeah, for sure. Kev says to breathe, Jen.
I can't. I've got a cough. I've got a cough. Like, I'm trying. I'm really trying, guys. I promise.
Kim says she developed a heart/breathing problem and had to turn the volume off for almost the whole game to maintain my sanity. I'm right there with you, Kim. If I don't go to the game live, I don't go to parties, I don't go watch the game at a bar. I'm in my little man cave right there, and very rarely do I even have a buddy over. I want to be able to watch it in peace. I might even mute the announcers every once in a while.
You had to tonight.
They can really get on your nerves, can't they, Jen? They want to spin those narratives about how Florida State could possibly get left out, but there's no way. Florida State wins, and we are in there.
Oh, my goodness. No Kurt was so excited every time Florida made a play tonight. It was just like mute. It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, let's look at some of those other score. We had a comment right here talking about all the Georgia fans and the SEC blowhards talking about smack during the FSU game. Yep. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech only beats Georgia by 8 points. Alabama
squeaks by Auburn.
The nation's sweetheart. Mm-hmm. After Auburn gets blown out by New Mexico State last week, 31-10,
and paid $1 million to have it done. And paid $1 million to have that beat down done.
Yeah, I think it was even more than that. Upwards over $1 million. They paid for them to come down and beat them 31-10. Then Auburn, Alabama, for all intents and purposes, lost that game.
Yeah.
Unreal. You see a guy, I forget what his name is, something Boyd. He's just wide open in the back corner of the end zone on this Hail Mary attempt where they had, 6 seconds. Milroe had out there running around, throws it up, and they catch it. Time runs out, and you win it by 3 points. Unreal. It's almost like the kick 6, but reversed for Alabama. And they survived that game, and it's like, it just goes to prove this whole complete nonsense narrative about playing close games in conference, et cetera, et cetera. You see Georgia and Alabama both look ridiculously bad against ridiculously bad teams this time of the year. So, I don't want to hear it. Florida State wins, and they're in.
And Washington squeaked by a 5-win team, too, with their starting quarterback. So, again, is that going to be punished? Because Florida State squeaked by Florida with a backup quarterback. Washington squeaks by Washington State, who is a 5-win team. Okay. I'm going to wait for this, but I'm pretty sure I know where it's going to go. No, they won't be punished. Nobody will be punished. It will be a gritty, tough win, and Florida State squeaked by. That's how that'll work.
Yeah. To be honest, I think in the heart of hearts, and when it all comes down to it, none of that shit matters.
No, it doesn't.
None of that stuff
it doesn't.
matters, and, they're going to do what's right. Florida State wins out. They're going to be in. It doesn't matter. All the conjecture about the 2 SEC teams, all this stuff, it doesn't matter. Michigan, for the 3rd straight year, is able to beat Ohio State, and it looks like it's going to be Michigan yet again. They'll get Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. It's going to be curious to see what the
Yeah.
over/under is. Speaking of Iowa, was it Nebraska they were playing? They had the lowest over/under of all time, I believe.
10 to
All time,
13.
as long as Las Vegas has been around, 24.5 points, lowest over and under ever. Folks out there bet the under still, and they cleared it. The under clears, cashes, however much it was. A lot of money lost by Vegas on these unders. They beat it by 1 point, the lowest under of all time. But yeah, you're right.
And
13-10, unreal.
I'm going to give you something here. I'm going to have a really hot take, but I'm going to take Iowa to beat Michigan straight up.
Roll. Iowa to beat Michigan straight up. Nothing would make me happier. Nothing would make me happier than to see that.
Because I feel like Michigan is so I don't know. I wasn't as impressed watching this Ohio State Michigan game as everybody else was. This wasn't a great game to me. I think it was poorly called on both sides. I don't know. Michigan to me, I don't see it. I don't see what everybody else sees. And maybe, again, I'm a girl. I'm not like a football aficionado, obviously. But I just don't see it. Like, everybody's like, JJ McCarthy is so great. Oh, is he? Because I don't know. I'm going to be a contrarian. Give me Iowa. I'll do it. Because that would just be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would absolutely love to see that if Iowa was able to put up enough points to beat Michigan in the Big Ten championship game after they took down Ohio State. You probably end up with Ohio State getting in the playoff through the back door if that were to happen. But it would definitely be fun to see. Let's see if we got any good comments or questions up here. Refs awarded Florida with that touchdown. That definitely wasn't a penalty on Dennett. Yeah, we were just talking about that a minute ago. There's no doubt about that. There was no way on God's
terrible.
green earth that was a penalty at all. There's just no way.
Did you see Mike in the middle of the field? That was wild.
Oh my gosh, I believe it was the head official that he was just going after it. Oh my gosh, he was not happy with that guy. Somebody had a tweet saying something about hitting the guy. It was like
that was Bud. I think that was Bud.
Yeah, he said he made me laugh. It's like if everybody in Noel Nation just wishes they could just rear back and cock that guy. It's like how much do we have to pay Mike Norvell for him to say screw it and just do it? But he showed his restraint there and didn't get any penalties or anything like that. But it's just ridiculous how often this stuff just keeps happening. It keeps happening. I'm looking at the scores from around the country. Oklahoma and TCU, man, they had a basketball score game. 69-45. Oklahoma takes the win. Unfortunately, Oklahoma doesn't get their they don't get their rematch against this Texas team that they beat earlier in the season. So even though Texas loses to Oklahoma, they miss them, and they actually play Oklahoma State in that Big 12 championship game. So let's see
who got
Oklahoma
blown out
State
by
can
San
knock off
Diego
Texas,
State.
but I don't think they have it in them.
Yeah, but I mean, Oklahoma State
other big games really to look at. But yeah, you just get that win over Florida. It's just such a big thing. You're state champion for second year in a row, I guess. State champion. That's 2 against Florida, 3 against Miami. Mike Norvell, you turn around, and I mean his record against his rivals is pretty dang good at this point in time. This is huge for recruiting. I saw somebody make a comment earlier. Jeremiah Smith was at this game, I do believe.
He was.
That thing has trended more and more towards looking good for Florida State. It's all about the Noles there. What do you think? Do you think they made a good impression over there in Gainesville for Jeremiah Smith and the rest of the recruits in the stands?
I don't know that there's any more Florida or Miami could do for him. I think, honestly, and I think other people would tell you this is a Florida State, Ohio State battle. And right now he's coming into Ohio State, which means he's with Ohio State.
Me? You're all of a sudden we can barely hear you here, Jen.
Oh, you can barely hear me?
I don't know. Somebody in the chat let us know if that's just me or if that's
is that better?
Jen, because I can barely hear you anymore.
Oh. All right. You want me to get
We
out
hear
and
her
get back
fine
in?
on our end. So I guess it's just me. Okay, that's fine. Maybe I turned my volume down here somewhere. I'm
Oh,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Where were you
oh
at?
no, you're
Oh
fine.
yeah, we were talking about Jeremiah Smith and how he, the Knowles, I'm sure impressed him, and I think we're one step closer to getting him. What do you think? That's what I was trying to ask you. That's my
Well,
fault.
I mean, I do think so, but I think right now he's still committed to Ohio State, right? So I think at the end of the day, Ohio State did lose. There's some rumors going around right now. Um, I don't think they're true. I might need to put my ear to the ground a little bit more, if you know what I mean. But I, God, I don't know. I do think this is a Florida State Ohio State battle. That's all I'm going to say. I think it's
Yeah,
50
there's no
50.
doubt. There's no doubt about that. It's been Florida State and Ohio State, in my opinion, the entire time. It was weird seeing that stuff with Brian Harsin, not Brian Harsin, excuse me,
Heartline,
the
yeah.
wide receiver coach for for Ohio State. I'm drawing a blank here. Brian Hartline. There's whispers about him possibly taking a head coaching job somewhere else. I know you keep
Mhm.
your ear to the ground on those head coaching jobs. I think, in my opinion, that's the biggest thing. And like you said, Jeremiah Smith, he's the #1 recruit in the nation, according to 247. He's sure he's hard to please. I don't take the position of necessarily it's kissing his butt. I
No.
think that's just recruiting in this time and age in 2023, and they've been after him. It's kind of like Landon Thomas. He's been on campus like 12, 13 times. You know, it's happening for a reason. He's not coming down there to play tiddlywinks in Tallahassee. He's coming down there because he's interested. And I think you're seeing the whole thing with LeBron James and Miami making pulling out all the stops, trying to recruit his quarterback from high school over there at Chaminade. I think that's all just, due to the pressure Florida State's putting on. Maybe he waits till signing day. Maybe he makes us wait all the way till then. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, he's going to flip to the Knowles, and it's going to be big time. It's going to be their shot to make a run at #1.
I mean, I think it could happen. I want to say it will. We can talk later. I don't know. Maybe I was a little bit more confident last night when we talked, but I don't know. I don't know. Something feels really weird about this one, and I can't put my finger on it.
What do you mean feels weird?
I
Is
don't
it
know.
something you're worried about not saying on the show? I know
No,
this isn't good podcasting.
sorry, guys. No, it's just, I don't know. Something feels off. It just seems like, I don't know. I think it's the
Alrighty.
coaching
Well, if you don't
dominoes. I
know.
think it's the coaching dominoes for me. That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, that's what I was asking you about
Yeah.
Brian Hartline, if you think he's going to take another coaching job. Like,
I think if he's
how do you,
offered,
you know what I
I
mean?
think it depends.
Do you,
If he's offered, for sure. I think some dominoes have fallen today, maybe a little bit. That
yeah, I thought you had a
um
school that you really, you thought you were leaning like could possibly offer him. I can't remember what school it
it
was.
was Duke, and I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know
right.
now. I don't know now that Elko is going to be the one leaving.
Right, Dabo Sweeney rumors abound. I know you had mentioned, I'm not sure, I know you had mentioned it on Twitter and you had mentioned it to me. All of a
Mhm.
sudden, Dabo Sweeney's name is back up, linked with Texas A&M.
I mean,
Is that
who called
that
it
the way you're
though?
leaning for that? You think Dabo would leave Clemson?
Okay, here's what I said. I think I said it on the pod a couple weeks ago, right? Texas A&M needs a type A coach who wins national championships, right? Everybody knows that type A coaches win national championships. Type A coaches don't go to Colts, except for one.
They don't do what?
They don't go to Colts. They don't deal with the Colt fan base that is like at A&M and all this stuff. Like those type
Oh,
A
a
coaches are
cult.
like a
I thought
cult.
you're like they don't go to the Colts. I'm
Sorry,
like,
I'm
what's wrong with the
Southern.
Colts?
Colt. I'm trying to talk. Colt. So,
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. You're absolutely right about, and that's
and there is one type A coach that can deal with a cult.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Dabo sure he seems to fit the bill. If there was some place he was going to go, it seems like it's a better fit than Texas A&M had with Jimbo Fisher. But at the same time, like after the
Jimbo,
experience you just had with Jimbo Fisher, a dude who won a title, was successful at a big Southern program, Florida State in the ACC. You get him over there, and you have this whole 8-year debacle that's going to cost you $200 million before it's all said and done with. Are you going to go to Dabo, a guy that had 2 national championships in the same conference, same kind of deal? Game has kind of passed him by. He's kind of sticking to his laurels, running his old stuff. Like, are you going to do the same exact thing off of his 8-4 season? I don't know. Clemson's a little bit better than Florida State was in 2017 when Florida State left, but still, I don't know if I make that call. To me, it's Mike Elko. I think it's been Mike Elko from the jump. But yeah, man.
I
But
mean,
we'll
I agree.
see. I mean, Dabo is definitely a big time coach, so
I agree
they
with
make him an
you,
offer
but
and he takes it.
I think Elko has been kind of wavering a bit. That is weird for them, and I think that's why the Dabo stuff has come back up. That's my guess.
All right, Jim, we're gonna try this. Just pop out real quick, and then I'll throw you back up when you come back in,
Okay.
just to check and see if that's if it's on my end or not. But yeah, I agree. I agree on the coaching stuff. That the coaching carousel is going to be big. We've already seen 3 or 4 SEC coaches get eliminated, if you will, and yeah, we're just going to see. If that would be a big hit to Clemson. I don't know. It's been a long time since they've had to wonder who their coach was going to be. You know, Dabo Swinney was a wide receiver coach when they made him the head coach. Really, a out of the box hire. Um, it would be really weird to see them go the same path again with him at, right after this whole thing with Jimbo Fisher. I think you're crazy if you don't go get Mike Elko from Duke, if you can get him. And then in turn, Duke's kind of been on a roll with coaching hires. You hope they can find somebody else to keep that thing going. But at the end of the day, Duke is a basketball school. They're never going to compete on that level. To keep these top coaches and guys that are hot up and comers in the ranks. Somebody that like Mike Elko who come in there and turn them around in just like a year or two. Right of the line says Napier needs a Jimbo Fisher contract extension. I'm all for it, man. Get Napier an extension, keep him there as long as possible, but uh, put one stipulation in there: you got to keep Austin Armstrong with you for the duration. But but no. As much jokes as we want to play, and as much as we talked and poked and prodded and roasted the Gators, look, they came to play. Austin Armstrong, for as funny as he's been in that opening press conference, it's been to talk crap about him all year. They came to play. We ended up getting the win, but all the respect to Florida because they did come to fight. Outside of that dirty late hit, that was my only kind of gripe with UF as this game
Or the
played out. But it was
spitting,
a
or
hard
the
hitting
spitting,
rivalry like you like to see.
or the spitting.
No, the spitting was absolutely disgusting.
I mean, ugh.
Yeah, I guess it's me. I don't know.
Maybe it is me. I don't know.
We will try something a little different. Can you hear me still?
I can.
Yeah, no, it's you. I don't know what's going on.
Uh-oh.
Uh, but yeah, right. Let's see what the next thing is up here, right? I think UK loss is going to drop them good. Yeah, they'll drop, guys. They're not going to be a top 10 team anymore, but they're going to be a top 20 team no matter what. They're not going to drop, to some crazy extent like out of the rankings or anything like that. They're going to be there. Probably, if I had to guess, maybe 18, 19, something like that. What do you think? Where do you think they end up being ranked next week?
Me? I would say about maybe 18.
What's that?
Okay. So it must be me. I don't know. All right. Uh-oh. Where'd you go? Hi guys, it's just me. So yeah, I think they'll drop them to 18. Anybody have any questions for me? Because I'm just here by myself.
We're back.
Okay.
Okay, I think we have finally got this thing.
Was it me?
I don't know what was going on. I just
Okay.
restarted the whole stream, but we are good to go finally. Sorry about that, guys. Gators ain't came to play. They only scored 8 points. Yeah, 8 points on the offense. You had the safety for 2 points. That gets them to 10. And the
Yeah.
field goal, but I believe that field goal was granted to him with field position. Was that one of those things where we just stopped them on our side of the field? So yeah, I guess you could call it 8 points truly by the offense. You can't. Adam Fuller in this defense, they have it. They have it going on. They're one of the best defenses in the nation, and that's what won us this game. We got Tate Rodemaker through this game. He made enough plays, converted enough third downs to just get us where we need to be. That's all we have to do is win, Jen, and we won.
Yep.
And that's what we're happy
So
about. You know.
I think we talked about it though on the pod a couple days ago. Like Tate holding on to the ball too long, the pocket collapsing. Like we knew that these things could happen. The noise got to them. It's fine. They still won. I got to give credit to the coaching staff, and I know a lot of people don't want to right now, but I think they saw what they had. They knew they could win the game. They knew they could win the game. They weren't going to try and get cute. They weren't going to try and lose the game off of getting cute. And guess what? They won.
Yeah. Once again, teams cannot pass on this defense. Yeah, this pass defense has been absolutely phenomenal. I thought Shyheim Brown dropped the pick early. Happy to see Kalen Deloach get that pick to really seal the game at the end of the game. It was the running. That was the only little sparks they had. Like we talked about, if you pay attention, if you listen to us on Wednesday, they were going to scheme up some runs. I knew that Napier was going to scheme up some runs, but second half, they were able to adjust and stop the bleeding. They didn't get in those big runs in the fourth quarter. And, yeah, they just were not going to be able to pass the ball on us. I'm not sure. Let's look up and see what their quarterback ended up with before the game was over, or at the end of the game for Florida here.
Hey, I'm getting a phone call from like a source that we might. Hang on, just.
All right, so we might find out. Might have some breaking news live here at the Voice of College Football for you guys. What could Jen have working in the background? A lot of big recruits at this game. I saw a question in the chat saying who would be the most impressed? What recruit? I gotta say Jeremiah Smith. I think that's the big guy you're trying to get over the finish line. If you can get Jeremiah Smith in this class, it really, really, really changes things. I think Kai Bates is going to end up in your class. It's a matter of time before you get him committed. I'm not sure if he was there tonight or not. But yeah, Kai Bates, Jeremiah Smith, a lot of good recruits in there. Florida State, they're going to make a run at number one. I'm going to stand by that. I think the worst they'll end up finishing is third, but there's a good chance they could end up first or second if all these teams come through like they're supposed to.
Hey, we can talk after.
All right. You got to give the people something, Jen. You can't keep teasing them like that.
It's not a tease. It's really not a tease. It was just my source kind of calling to say, hey, we won the game. And like, he didn't know I was watching, but that's fine. Anyway, we can talk later.
To be continued. But yeah, state champs again. I'm having a hard time pulling up the there it is.
But I do think that Kai Bates pops. I would say before early signing day. Could be tomorrow, actually.
Tomorrow? You think he could pop tomorrow?
I could see it. I'm not, I don't know. I could see it. Yeah.
That would be big. That would be big.
I think they would like something before the ACC championship game, so maybe it's not going to be him. I don't know. But again, the ACC championship game doesn't scare me at all.
Yeah. Kai Bates and Coy Parrish is another one. I'm expecting to pop pretty soon. If you haven't heard about Coy Parrish, he's a linebacker, safety hybrid player. He's a top 100 player in the nation. They have him listed at safety on the different recruiting sites. He's from the Midwest. I believe he was committed to Minnesota at one point. He might have already decommitted, but look to see us land him. And by the time you add Parrish, you add Bates. If you could add a Smith to that group, you're right up there. You're over 300 points, and you're neck and neck for a chance at a top finish. And we also Denos White, a defensive tackle. Florida State is still after him. It'd be nice to get a defensive line recruit. LJ McCray at Florida. There's something. I'm not sure if he was at this game visiting Florida for this one or not. But look, LJ McCray was at Florida State's last game visiting, and Florida didn't want him there. They were trying to stop it. He said he was going to take the visit after he committed. He ended up making that visit. You get the win over Florida. It wasn't pretty, but you did it with your backup quarterback. You were out there and be dominant on defense. Who knows? Maybe you can flip LJ McCray. You flip LJ McCray and land some of them other guys, and you're talking about one of the best classes ever type conversation. But that's pie in the sky. We're not going to predict all those things right here, but you're going to be in it. Florida State's going to get as many guys as they want.
How do you feel about LJ McCray? Because I don't see it.
Right now, I don't see anything impending.
Yeah.
There's work to be done between now and signing day.
He is like hardcore.
Hardcore what?
He's hardcore Gator right now. Like he says, he really loves them. I don't know why he does, but he does. And I think he was at Miami for the Mincy kid. Like he went for that visit. Now, what do you feel about the Mincy kid? Because I don't feel like it's Florida State for him at all. What do you think?
Yeah, the way he played that, liking all the FSU stuff when he committed to Florida, it makes it a long road to hoe, and I could definitely see him playing them for laughs or whatever. But at the same time, you just don't know with these kids.
No, you don't.
I want to address this one really quick because look, guys, I'm not James Coleman. I didn't play the game. I'm not a genius when it comes to X's and O's. I'm pretty good with it. When you're watching some of these games, you see these plays where already kind of my issue with Trey Benson, if he has a weakness, it's that sometimes he tippy-toes instead of just running it, just bouncing it, making the decision to either run it up the middle or bounce it. And they do some of these certain stretch plays, either that or like this particular commenter says, we need to stop doing the highly predictable run up the middle when we see the D licking their chops. Jeff Bobbin was haunting us tonight. Now, I will not ever in a million years compare anything Mike Norvell does to Jeff Bowden.
Never.
That's hyperbole. That's a bit of a troll. But there is a little bit of, look, we talk about it. He's putting those runs in the bank. He is running it, showing you that he will run it, so you have to keep those guys there. Does it suck in the moment? Does it get an angry tweet out of me every once in a while when you see 2 or 3 runs, when like these people are talking about? Another part of that is you don't have Jordan Travis out of there to audible. The one play that comes to mind when I see this comment, there was a play, we had just got a first down, something happened on first down to where it was almost a big play, and they didn't get lined up on defense. Florida didn't. We had 2 guys out wide. It was Coleman and somebody else, maybe Portier, and they were over there, and there was 1 defender. Florida screwed up. They didn't get the guys over there. Well, instead of looking over there and just getting the guys to line up and snap them the ball, they spend another 10, 15 seconds. Florida gets a guy over there. They're still confused. Both the DBs are like looking around at that, and they don't know what to do with that stack. They're totally confused. And then they just snapped it and handed it off at the middle where all the defense was. those are the kind of things that are aggravating. But at the same time, how mad can you be? It's Tate Rodemaker's a backup quarterback in there. So yeah, hopefully they'll get those kind of things cleaned up, and we won't see that as much in the Louisville game. But we're crying over spilled milk, guys. We got the win, and that's all that matters. And if you can survive the ACC championship game against Louisville, I see another good point brought up in the comments. Darrell Jackson is going to improve that defensive line even more during the college football playoff. If you can survive Louisville, I mean, you're going to have an elite defense going into a playoff. What offense out there
that nobody is talking about? That nobody's talking about. They want to keep bringing up Jordan's not going to be there, but they have no idea that Darrell Jackson is about to be there. That's insane to me.
He might be the best tackle we got, and that's saying something.
He's not. Might be the best tackle we got. Let's be real.
Yeah, I haven't been out there at practice to see it for myself, but you talk to people behind the scenes, and yeah, he's absolutely a stud, and just kind of a different kind of body, the kind of bodies you want to get at Florida State moving forward, and a guy who's also completely fresh. He's been practicing with guys, so he's in shape. It's not that he's not in football shape, but he hasn't had a season of beating on him. He's just dying to get in there. So yeah, if you could just turn him loose, like the second drive or even the second series maybe of that playoff game, oh my goodness. Could you imagine? I mean, you've got Braden Fisk, Farmer, all these guys that you
pull them up. How good is Fisk?
How gets slapped in there? Oh my goodness. Fabian Lovett.
How good is Fisk, though? I mean, seriously. This was ridiculous what he did tonight. It was, seriously. He's got to get some flowers. He's got to get some love. Everybody give him some praises. That man was home every time he needed to be home.
Yeah, Braden Fisk, his motor is absolutely relentless. And one thing you saw out of him when all the chips were down and the team needed somebody to be that steady presence and to pick it up and keep guys going, that was Braden Fisk. Even when everybody was kind of jaw dropped, is this really happening? Braden Fisk, that guy that was giving steady effort every play. And he doesn't let this team get too high or too low. Really love. He's just been a great veteran presence to have on this defense. Feels like he's been here for 10 years. You wish you could have him for 10 years, but
I know.
Unfortunately. Personal time. You can't make everybody happy. Some people in these comments.
Uh-oh.
This was Tate's confidence game. Yeah, I agree. Look, it's a good thing that, you got to see Tate a little bit in that North Alabama game. He had the Louisville game last year. But this was the first time ever Tate came into the game as the starter. The game plan built around him, all on him. And it was a rivalry game, and it was at Gainesville. It was there was so much into it. So as hard as it was to watch, and with us being so used to seeing Jordan Travis on this 17-game winning streak, now 18-game winning streak, he got it done. He got the plays done that we needed to see to win this game. And look, when it came down to it, and Tate figured out where he was in the pocket, when he planted his feet and threw it downfield, that was all good. He made some damn good throws down the field in the game, and that's the thing that gives you hope. So just the comfort in the pocket, they'll work on that, and they'll get a little better. And I'm expecting to see a little bit more of Armella and these younger offensive linemen the closer we get to the ACC championship and a possible playoff berth. So yeah, just this team will be a lot better the next time we see them. I think you'll see them be a lot more crisp in that game against Louisville. And there's nothing to worry about there. But it's going to be a lot of fun breaking that one down and watching that film because, man, Louisville got tore up by Kentucky, but they've been pretty dang good all year. You don't just win 11 games for nothing, even if you don't have a crazy hard schedule.
Tell that to Liberty.
Yeah. What, Liberty beat them or something?
Oh, I mean, Liberty's undefeated, aren't they?
No, Liberty's really good.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
I'm saying Liberty's not good.
I mean, they're Liberty. I'm just.
Yeah, Liberty is like the big fish in the small pond.
Yeah.
They're in that. I'm not even sure what conference, that FCS division or whatever it is, and it's like
Conference USA, maybe? I don't know. Are they
it's
Conference
the
USA?
perfect place to keep a job and just be able to dominate because they have more money than everybody else in that division. So, but yeah, they're the
Although
big
I
fish in
will
the mouth.
say, I think Jamie Chadwell is a fantastic coach, and I cannot believe that nobody's plucked him yet.
Well, I can't believe he landed there. I mean, he came from Coastal Carolina. He was like he was the hot coach on all these different coaching jobs, but apparently he didn't get the one he wanted, and so now he goes,
which is
I guess,
Tennessee.
a little bit of a step up to Liberty, technically FBS or whatever, conference that is, but it's like I guess he's wanting to go from there to whatever his dream job is. We'll see.
Tennessee.
But, yeah, we'll see if he gets the Tennessee job, but I don't know. I don't see that one coming up for another couple of years. We'll see. These coaches, they've really got smart about playing the game. There's no. It's not all any kind of all shucks. We're doing this for the love of the game and the university and everything. It's a business, and it's about the money, and it's about positioning yourself, for the future. What can you do to get the best job, have the best chance to win, the best facilities, all that stuff, and that's just the world we live in. It's funny watching the coaches go back and forth and talking crap about what the players should get, and then the players get upset and all that stuff. So it is what it is. College football, at the end of the day, to me, it's the best it's ever been. I just wish we could. I can't wait. We've talked a lot about conference realignment. I can't wait to get to the Big Ten or the SEC or go independent or wherever else just to get away from these darn ACC officials. I'm so tired of talking about this crap on every single post-game review. It's like there's 2 or 3 just insane calls every week. It's like, and against Florida, we just had to have the ACC officials. I knew the second I saw that first terrible call, I was like, oh, ACC officials. And then sure enough, they called it out over the broadcast.
It was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah, it just does not stop. Cody Tompkins he's got a good comment here. Go Noles, baby. George and Jen, y'all are doing great. Undefeated regular season. Well deserved for a great group of guys and players and coaches. Time to go get that ACC hardware and bring it back to Tally. Absolutely. It would sure be nice to get that ACC title in 2023. And you get that thing, you get a spot in the playoffs. I don't care what anybody says. This defense, like we just talked about, you add Daryl Jackson to it. Who are you going to see in the playoff? It's looking like Georgia is probably going to be in. I don't see Bama beating them with how they've looked.
No.
So you've got a Georgia team, you've got a Michigan team, and then it's going to come down to if Florida State were to win out, you'd have Georgia, Michigan, Florida State. I mean, unless Iowa beats Michigan, we'll see. That would be great. I'm all for that. But Georgia, Iowa,
I got a new wrinkle. 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 You ready? Right. So if Oregon beats Washington, right? And Alabama beats Georgia.
We just said they're not going to beat Georgia.
I'm saying I got a new wrinkle.
Okay. All
right.
Oregon goes down, Bama goes down.
No, Oregon beats Washington, Bama beats Georgia. You got 2 one-loss teams there vying for a spot.
Okay.
Oregon's beaten nobody other than Washington. Bama's had their schedule propped up by the committee.
Well, they'd have a win over Georgia at that point.
Yeah. One win.
Oregon would have a win over Washington, but also a loss.
That's it. So what do? That's a new wrinkle that I didn't think of until today.
Yeah, no, we've talked about that a lot. I mean, if that ends up happening, you got 6 one-loss teams you've got to choose between. And if Texas wins out, then Bama's not getting in over Texas. So, that's the best chance for the SEC to get left off, which would be amazing to me. So I'm all for it. Let Bama beat Georgia and Texas win out. Let us win out, and bam.
That's what I'm saying. I think that most people are so worried about Florida State, but they haven't discussed these other scenarios that could clearly happen. Especially looking at the way they play. They're so worried about Florida State with their backup quarterback, but they don't care about these other teams squeaking by with their regular quarterbacks week in and week out. That's all I'm saying.
There's no doubt. the double standard is absolutely ridiculous. But I think now after this weekend, what we saw from both Bama and Georgia, maybe we can just put that narrative to bed. But I agree with you and Smooth Criminal. I think Oregon is the better looking team. I don't know what it is. They get together with Washington, and they have this great game. Washington gets the win, but yeah, it's hard to beat a good team like that twice. So yeah, I see Oregon winning that on that end of it from the Pac-12.
But the problem with Oregon is the fact that they have no other good wins. If they beat Washington in the Pac-12 championship, they have none. None.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Nobody does. That's the argument. That's why it's so fun, because if you get all these one-loss teams, like who has Bama beat really? Nobody.
Nobody.
Like LSU. Like, okay, it was like
Ole Miss.
The same people that Florida State beat LSU too. Like that's
That's what I'm saying. I actually saw. Did you see the Mad Dog and Paul Feinbaum argument? No. Oh my God! Maybe I gotta clip it. I gotta send it to you because it's amazing. So Paul Feinbaum is like, Florida State's beating nobody, and he's like, well, they beat LSU and they beat Clemson, and he went down the list, and he goes, who's Bama beating? Who's Bama beating? And he goes, LSU. And he goes, okay, I'm done. I'm done right now. I'm done. I'm really done.
It's a great win for
was
Bama.
Absolutely just destroying Feinbaum. It's amazing. Everybody's got to go watch it.
Yeah, we'll have to go check that one out for sure.
Maybe I'll just clip it and put it on my Twitter.
For sure. Bama has that kryptonite against Georgia. We'll see. That would be great. I'm all for it. Let Bama beat Georgia, and let Oregon beat Washington. Let Texas win out. Let us win out. I'm all for it. Let's see mayhem, because I know if we win out, we're in. It's going to be somebody else. It's not going to be us if we can stay undefeated.
It absolutely is not going to be us.
But what I was getting to earlier, as we close this thing out, if you beat Louisville, your matchup in the playoff is either going to be a Georgia team led by Carson Beck, who's looked great, but he's not, to me, more of a game manager at this point for Georgia. He's young. He's not like out there making all these crazy throws. It's either going to be him, Oregon, and Bo Nix, who has been a Heisman level quarterback all year. But still, he's Bo Nix.
And they've beaten nobody.
You're going to get Michigan and JJ McCarthy, who I'm just not impressed by. Or worst case scenario, Iowa beats Michigan. There's a chance you get Kyle, whatever his name is, from Ohio State. And I'm not worried about him. I don't see any offense that could possibly get to the playoffs that I'm worried about. Like, oh no, Florida State just can't stop this team. Of course, they're going to score some points, but the whole question will come down to how much of an offense can they get together with Tate? What can they do, and how quick can they get it together? Because this defense is going to be. I'm gaining more and more confidence every week. But yeah, we might get to a point when we get to the offense that I feel like we have the best defense there.
Yeah, I think I'm not worried about the defense. I'm worried about the offense against defenses with the pulse. That's my issue right now. Because Florida is terrible. And we all know this. Like, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. They are not a good defense. And this wasn't a pretty showing, but it also was a rivalry game at night. I get it. I totally get it. Let's see how Louisville works. Let's see how it looks. And then we can decide from there.
Yep. Winning, you're in. That's what it is. It was a playoff this week. And, playoff next week when we see Louisville. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to talk to you guys about it. We got plans for a call-in show this Tuesday at 8:30 over there at the Renegade Report. Catch me and Jen a couple times a week. Y'all make sure y'all get over there. I believe we're going to do it about 8:30 Eastern on Tuesday. We're going to have our first call-in show. So, yeah, y'all make sure y'all get over there, and we'll have the number up for you guys. You can call in and talk to us and get all your questions in, get your hot takes in, roast the Gators, the Canes. But yeah, the biggest thing I want to just end this thing off with, just so everybody knows, the Florida Gators will not be bowling.
Make a bowl. Mm-hmm.
So, we couldn't stop them in 2021. It was the kind of bowl eligible bowl, and we lost that one to them. But this year, We got them. They're not getting in the bowl on our backs. Florida State moves to 12-0, survives the entire regular season undefeated, 12-0, 4-0 out of conference, 8-0 in the ACC. You can't do any better than that, regardless of how you want to spin it. But we're out of here. You want to give any parting words to the people?
Love you guys. Thank you for watching, and go Knowles. And just understand that all the talking heads, don't get upset. This is exactly what we said in our pod a couple weeks ago, that this is what was going to happen. All Florida State needs to do is win, and they're in. That's it.
That's it. Win, and you're in, baby. Go Knowles, and we'll see you guys after the ACC championship for your FSU Voice of College Football postgame live, brought to you by TicketSmarter.com. Go Knowles, baby.